Hi everyone, and thank you for purchasing the Shop the Look on Hover Shopify section by qwiqode. In this video, I'll be showing you how to actually use it. So if you haven't installed it yet, please refer to the separate video included in the package. And you also have access to a PDF with instructions. So to get started, head over to your theme editor, navigate to the page you want to add the section to. Over on the left, click on Add Section and search for the section. And you have here, Shop the Look on Hover. So let's start by adding in an image. So we click on here, we go click right over there, and we'll look for this image right there. Now, as you can see, it's a very big image. We can set its different dimensions. So we can set it up as a landscape. Let's make this much smaller. We can set this up. I'll go through this in a minute, but so we can have it landscape. As you can see, the original is a square image. We can crop it out as a portrait image or square, but this is the same, so there's no cropping going on. Let's just keep it at square for now. Now let's add in a few products. So click on Add Products. And then over here, we select Product. And we can do, let's say, anti-aging cream. And as you can see, once we add in a product, we have this dot here that could be clickable. So we can move this dot. So anti-aging, let's say the anti-aging is going to be over on the cheek. So you can move the horizontal positioning based on the image right there, and then a little bit lower like that. Oops, a little bit higher like that. There we go. Okay. Now, we have an option here for Metafields. There's a separate video that you can see how to set up the Metafields so that you can use this section on, let's say, the same page template, but not the same content, where you want to have dynamic content. Because if we're doing it the way we're setting, the way I just showed you, where we put in a product and set up the horizontal positioning, this will be the same for all pages. So if you're adding this to the home page, or to an about page where it's a template that's not being reused for different content, then that's okay, because you want to keep the same content. But if you're putting this on a product page, for instance, where the template change or the content changes based on the product that you're going to, or a blog post, for instance, then you want dynamic content. And so then you would click this field, and then instead of using these three, well, here, the image, you can select a different image based on the meta field, if you have one set up, and then you can set up the positioning of the dot using a meta field. Right now, we don't have these options here available, but if you follow the video that you have a link to in the PDF that you got, then you can see how to set that up as well. So let's turn this off, and we'll just use regular content for now, static content, as they say. Now, mobile positioning, we have to set that up too. So let's add in the main mobile image. So if we select that, and let's say this one, it's a little bit, let's say it's a little bit different crop of an image. You don't have to have that, but what is important is that you set up the mobile positioning, because as you can see, it's different percentages. See, to get to that cheek there, then this is 31 and not 50, and not 37. And here 50 versus 52. So it's a little bit different. So we give you the option to set up mobile positioning for that as well. Let's add in another product. Anti-wrinkle cream, or let's put an eye cream, and then eye cream, since we're on mobile already, we can put that on her right eye, so a little bit more like that. And then like that. And then, of course, we have to adjust for desktop as well. There we go. All right. Now let's go to the main settings here. So as you can see, once we hover over this item, then we get the tooltip with the product itself that you can click. So let's do a little bit of setting up. So we have section title, which is right up here. So we can add in a title, products for your face. Now, we have an option here to set up HTML element. The HTML element serves two purposes or two benefits. One is for better SEO. You can select from H1 to H6. Usually when writing code, when writing pages, you could designate the importance of these titles. And they're basically H1 is highly important, H6 is much lower for titles. And so usually you have a page, like H1 is the most important, and it's usually the page, the entire page title, let's say up here. So this would be H1. But down below for sections, we usually tend to do H2, just so, and then you can use as many as you want, and they rank, you're placing high importance on this text. The second benefit is that you can import, or this will inherit the theme styling settings for those H1, H2s, and so on. So you don't have to go down, you don't necessarily have to go down and change those settings in the settings that we offer. But in any case, you have those settings available. So we'll leave this at H2. That's what we recommend for sections in any case. Next, we have a text block. So we can put in, this is a short description of this section. As you can see, it adds it up right over there. Next, inside or outside of wrapper, that occurs when we set a section background color. So if we add this background color, so you can see the section is wrapped in this dark gray. So if we go back up here and we set outside of wrapper, then we can have the title outside of this wrapper. Now this works only when you have section width set to regular. And we can actually go and describe this, since we discussed these as well. Well, image border radius we didn't discuss. We can add in a border radius to this, to the image. If I hide this, you'll be able to see it. There you go. But let's go back and show this. So with this max width that you saw, we can enlarge or minimize the size of this section. If we want this background to go all the way to the edges, we would set full width, as you can see, and then content max width, you're still controlling the size of this image, like so. And then real full width, which probably isn't really recommended in this section at least, it makes it very, very large. So that's not recommended for this for this one, but obviously you can if you'd like. So let's just remove the background now. Just keep it white like that. This doesn't work anyway if this is set to regular. Next, so we have section top margin and padding, or margins and padding. Margin is the space outside of the section. So if we set top margin to higher, as you can see, you're getting more space above there. And then if we set bottom margin, we're getting more space below. And padding, in this case, when there's no background color, then you don't really see the difference. But if we do add a background color, then we can add more padding. As you can see, it's giving more padding down below like that, and then horizontal padding to the sides as well. But let's just remove that for now, because we're going to remove the background color. All right. Next, we have those same settings, the margins and the padding for mobile as well. Moving on, section title styling. So here we can set the color of the title. So let's just choose a nice, like dark blue like that. We can set the alignment of it, left, center, or right. We can choose a custom font. So then you have a list of Shopify's large selection of fonts. Or if you have a manually installed one, then you can take the CSS code, a little bit more for advanced users, but you could take that code from your CSS file and paste it into here, and then it'll use that font that you have installed. Next, we have font weight, so you can set the font weight that you'd like. Moving on, top margin. So we have a top margin for the title as well, and bottom margin, so that'll give more space between that and either the image or the description, which if you don't have a description, then it'll just give more space over there. We have title font size. So if this is at 0, then it's inheriting from your theme. And if we increase that, then we have a bigger title right over there. Line height, not as important unless you have a really long title and it goes down to 2 lines or in smaller screens. Then you can adjust the line height if you adjusted the font size and you want a different line height. And letter spacing, you can add more space between each letter. Then we have the same margins and font size, line height, letter spacing for the mobile version as well. Next, we have the same settings for the text area. So here, we can keep the same inherited color. We'll keep the same font for now. Move down, we can lower the margin, make it a little bit closer, but then increase the bottom margin to give a little bit more space right over there. The font size, let's increase that a little bit, something like that. All right, and then line height, letter spacing, the same as I explained before, and we have those same settings for the mobile. Next, we have option to set the marker styling. So if you don't like this dot, there's a few options. You can either change its color or you can upload your own icon. So if we have an icon here and we'd like to use, let's just say just this as an example. And as you can see, then there you have that icon right over there, and then you can make this much larger if you'd like. I mean, we don't recommend a much larger icon in any case. You don't want to cover the image too much. Let's remove this and just keep the dot for now. But as you can see, we can make those dots different sizes. And here we can change the color. So if we'd like, let's say, this dark blue color, and then we have an active or the hover. When you hover over, you see the color changes like that. Next, we have the tooltip. So we have an option to preview the tooltip. As you can see, you don't want to set up and then each time hover over. So we have this option to preview the tooltip and you'll get it automatically. And then you can set up the background color. We can do something like that, like a background like that. You can adjust the width of the tooltip, bigger or smaller. Let's just keep this at white for now. Border width, if you notice, there is a border right there, and right now it's gray. Let's make this one the dark color. And then we can say, hey, we just want 1 pixel, very thin, and then we can add a border radius to it, make it a little bit rounder, like that. We can adjust the alignment of the text right over here, so we can do that, let's say, centered. Now we can add horizontal padding. As you can see, there is padding here of 10, so we can add that, let's say, 25 horizontal, 25 vertical. And then we have those same settings for mobile, but on mobile we don't have it by pixel, we have it by percentage of the width of the device screen. Moving on. So we have the product image. So that product image, we can also choose not to show it if you like, but if you do, you have it there. You can also adjust the dimensions of the image that's being loaded. So let's just keep that, let's say, at landscape. And we can adjust the border radius of the image, which is the corners. Next, we have tooltip styling. So the title styling right over there. So we can also hide the title if we don't want the title. You can choose, like I mentioned before, H4, the HTML element. As you notice, we can put H3, H2, and so on. Keep that at H4. We can set the title color, custom font. What was the font? I don't remember all of a sudden which one we chose, but I think it was this one. And then we can make the font a little bit bigger so we can see it. Now we can adjust the top margin. So if we want it a little bit closer or a little bit further away, and then also the bottom margin, line height, letter spacing. Same settings for the mobile version. And then we have the price. So we can hide the price if we don't want to show the price. We can also choose to show the from price. That's if you have multiple variants with varying prices. So you can choose to show the from. It'll usually say from and then the lowest price of the cheapest variant, and you can change that text to be something else. Let's change the color, and then we can change the font itself. Let's make the font a little bit bigger, like that. Remove the top margin, give a little bit more bottom margin. There we go. Letter spacing, and those same settings for the mobile. And then we have the button, the Shop Now button here. So here, same thing, we can change the label. We can also hide the button if we don't want the button, but I'm sure that you would want the button. Let's select a custom font. Let's make this caps. And let's make the font a little bit smaller, font size, like that. We can give border radius, like so. And then we can also adjust padding inside the button if we want the padding to be bigger, like that. Same settings for mobile. And then we have colors. So as you can see, we have right now a border, a black border, transparent background, and text color. So if we want to change that, and we want to make the text white, the background this dark blue, and then the border color, let's say also this dark blue. And then we have hover. So right now, when I'm going to hover over, then the background is going to be black, the text is going to stay white, and there's not going to be any border color. So basically, let's make this just so we can see. It's going to be turn red. See if you can see the border color turns red, and you can adjust the thickness of the border right over here. So here, if we want to see the difference, we make that red. And then here we can say like that. And there you go. So there you have it. Let's turn this off. Where's the preview? So there you have it. We now have a fully functional section where you can go and view the products exactly on the image itself. You can have a room with various products on it, and for the chair you can highlight, and it's kind of like a shop the look kind of idea, just a little bit different. And that's it. So if you have any issues, any questions, any concerns, please don't hesitate to reach out to us on our support page, and have a great day.